Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. What's going on, guys? Uh, it turns out, just made an episode about these text messages that were screenshotted, released by Candace. Turns out, everybody was saying that they were fake. Everybody was saying that they were trash. Turns out they were actually real. Verified by Andrew Kolvet. He is the spokesperson. He says that's one of the hats he wears in regards to Turning Point. So currently he is the spokesperson and also has filled in as the host of the Charlie Kirk show. So he actually verified that these messages released by Candace are actually real. Here's the weird thing, though. He also says that he's the one that screenshotted them and sent them around. Not really sure I'm understanding all that, but let's hear it from him.
Been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So
is he saying, here's what he's saying. He's saying that they wanted to leave no stone left unturned. So the theory that everybody has been talking about in regards to Philadelphia, okay? That's what we call it here, guys, okay? We call it Philadelphia, okay? All right? That's what we call it here. Trying to survive, okay, guys? But so he's saying that he actually thought this was something. That's basically what I'm getting from what he just said. He was saying, I think because of what was said in this group message, that this person that Charlie was talking to, a donor that they had lost $2 million a year, that could have been something towards him losing his life. That's what this guy is saying right now, which very commendable to this guy if that's actually if that's really how it went down, where Charlie got hit and this guy said, you know what, leave no stone unturned. He said this about this donor, this about this donor in terms of Philadelphia, said he's abandoning the pro-Philadelphia cause. These are all things that I should be screenshotting. I'm going to send this off to government. What? To Cash, to Dan, whoever, law enforcement, etc. He thought that was the thing to do. Okay. Well, it seems like even he or even people at Turning Point were thinking, Charlie's position on Philadelphia was changing quite a bit. So maybe we should kind of consider this as something. Okay. Yeah, and then he gave it, and here's another thing. He says he gave it to people in government. Now, the only thing I can think of is Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, or any people that are working for Cash and Dan. That's it. That's all I can think of. So now he's also saying that someone in that bureau gave those screenshots to Candace, or even showed those screenshots to anybody outside of the bureau that's part of an investigation. That's crazy. That's nuts. Just saying. So he considered this a true theory that Philadelphia could have been responsible. And also someone in the government was like, yeah, give it to Candace. Who cares? What? That's wild. He's real excited for the truth to come out. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If I was in his situation, I would not be excited for that truth to come out. I can't, but listen, I'm not a special person, all right? I can't be the only one who's figuring that out and connecting those dots. This guy, hope he doesn't have the same security team. Hope they got a new security team. This guy might need it.
One of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care, we're not investigating every lead, we're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with the family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, the things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in.
That's interesting. I can't listen. I know a lot of people aren't on these guys' sides, but I would say that's true. You shouldn't. They're probably going to come to you and say, please just don't say anything. Like, let's not figure out what you can and can't say. Let's just have you not say anything in case this messes it up. Because here's the thing. If it is Tyler, and Tyler is the one that's going to be on trial here, right? There's nobody else unless Tyler's lover, friend, ends up, I think his name's like Twigs or something like that, Lance Twigs. Unless that person's going to be tried as well, it's just Tyler. So if Blake, the person who had the glasses on, the bald guy, or this Andrew guy, or anybody at Turning Point, started coming out the same way Candace was with these theories, that could mess up the case in the sense of Tyler's defense, his lawyers that he has could go, well, you know what? You guys are saying that Tyler did it, but also we have you on September 15th and September 21st and October 1st. We have you saying that you think it could be these people or this foreign government or this. We have a lot of different theories. So why does this all fall on my client? There's a lot of play that these lawyers, lawyers are demons, man. They really are. So there's a lot of play that they could have if they say anything. So, that is true. Again, I know some people may not like to hear that, but that is true. That does make sense. Now, in terms of Andrew, he said he's not an eyewitness, but maybe he has to testify. Maybe he has to, divulge information. I don't know. But for the bald guy, Blake, that actually does make sense. And whoever else was there in regards to Turning Point, I now understand why they're not speaking on this, because you can't. It could actually work in Tyler's favor. And, some people feel like he's not the one that did it. I know Candace feels like he's not the one that did it. But if he is, you don't want to give him that wiggle room to get out of this. You want justice to reign supreme. But let's keep going.
Specifically on this issue of
Philadelphia,
because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that, we have to let free speech be our North Star here. Okay. Charlie was adamantly free speech. And I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers. All right. And I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. And I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what he's going to get asked about is
Philadelphia.
What was he going to say? And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel?
Philadelphia.
Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months. And it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text, group text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Charlie.
That's interesting. And that does make sense. That actually does make sense. In between the letter that was sent that everybody saw and the text that everybody has now saw, where does he feel? He's like in between. I could definitely see that. That does make sense. I mean, his opinion on Philadelphia was evolving, but it's not like he just went full nut. Like he didn't, he wasn't outright just being like, I'm done with these guys. That's not what was happening, right? We just saw an evolving opinion. We saw an opinion that was changing. He just wanted to understand why he couldn't criticize Philadelphia. I like that you guys are catching on with Philadelphia. I even see you guys in the comments saying Philadelphia. Believe me, I really, really appreciate that. I have to say, I like it. We're going along with it just like we go along with tinfoil Speedos. Really appreciate you guys on that. Seriously. Trying to survive out here. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. They have a way of, I won't even get into it. But that makes a lot of sense that Charlie was kind of in between. But these messages were real. And Candace says she has more. Right? I made another episode about that. I don't know when that's dropping, but Candace says she has more. So I don't know what we're about to see. And honestly, even as I'm listening to this whole episode, I don't know. Andrew says that they're his. I would love for Candace to verify if these are his, because here's the thing. He just said these screenshots are mine, right? And I sent them out. And I sent them to government, and then I don't know, they got into somebody else's hands. Candace actually said, in regards to those screenshots, that she knows the 7 people that were in the group text, the group chat. So how could she know if she just got this screenshot secondhand from someone else who's, just someone who got a hold of the screenshot and said, here you go, Candace? How could she know who's in that group text? How did she know Josh Hammer was in it? How does she know the other 5 people that are in it? How does she, and he's outed himself as one of the people. So now we have Charlie, we have Josh, we have Andrew. So there's 4 other people that Candace says she's going to be naming as days go on. I don't know. I don't know if I fully buy that. I think she got it from somebody that is kind of on her side and wants her to really be turning over these stones and asking these questions. And I realize now from Andrew, shout out to him, that the reason that there are people possibly in Turning Point that would rather give this info to Candace is because Candace will handle it better. She handles the slings and arrows that come her way a lot better than like a regular person who's not used to the limelight. And also they can't because of the investigation. Maybe they're being told, listen, don't talk about anything. But it's like on the sly, it's like, okay, I'm just going to slip her this. She'll say everything. I won't say everything. I won't say anything. I haven't broken what I've told to, Cash and Dan Bongino. And, Pam with her immense desk with so many things on her desk all the time, you don't want to disrupt what's on Pam's desk, because if you disrupt what's on Pam's desk, it disappears and I'll never forget it. We can never forgive her. Now she's claiming, she's like, oh, I never said there was anything on my desk. What? Is this the Mandela effect? What did you say? There was nothing on your desk the whole time. You never said it? Hold on. Is it Berenstein Bears or Berenstein Bears? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Did Nelson Mandela die in prison or did he get out? Hold on. Like what? Was Sinbad in a movie called Shazam? Hold on. Wait, is this the Mandela effect? There was no desk? I come from a timeline where there was a desk and there were things on the desk. She's saying, no, there was no things on the desk. The desk isn't even real anymore, guys. Are you aware of this? Imagine everybody's like, I don't remember any desk. What's Colin talking about? I don't remember any desk. I'll lose it. I'll lose it. I will lose it. Anyway, the messages are real. Candace has been vindicated. But we'll see from here. If she releases more, that's going to be nuts. And then what explanation will this Andrew guy have then? If she starts naming the names, what explanation will he have then? Is he super excited that this information's out there? That's such a spokesperson thing to say. And you know what? The thing that I didn't want to release because it was private and I was told not to release it, I'm super excited that this information is out there. Super excited. I'm super excited the thing that I didn't want to happen has happened. Aren't we always super excited when things like that happen? Come on. That's silly. You know, Anna Paulina Luna, I'm looking here. She actually said she applauds Andrew for providing context. Stop attacking Andrew, she says. Stop attacking Tyler. Stop attacking Erica and those who loved and worked with Charlie. According to what Charlie is saying here, he was assisting or had given this to someone as a potential lead to find a murderer. Now, given that there is DNA on the evidence linking Tyler to the firearm, let's see what comes out in trial. You know, I said it before, you know, I did an episode. I don't know if that's out yet, but, you know, Anna Paulina Luna was talking about how China has connections to this whole thing that happened to Charlie. And from there, I don't trust her. I just don't. Not really. I mean, if you're saying that, it doesn't even make sense, right? If you saw the episode, you saw it, but I go through the whole thought process. It doesn't line up. It doesn't make sense. So, you know, great when she does disclosure, but she kind of showed that, I don't know. I don't know if you're someone to trust, you know? And then all of a sudden, it's like, it becomes hard to trust the whole situation when one of these government shills pops up and they're like, hey, I'm on Danny Jones's podcast because I'm just cool like you are. You saw me on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? You saw me on the Joe Rogan podcast JRE experience, right? I was on there too, just speaking the truth. Okay. All right. I guess. Or you just line those podcasts up because you knew you had to spread a narrative, you know? Well, like, what is it? You know, again, I like this Paulina Luna character, but what is that? You're on these podcasts. Like, what are you even doing on these podcasts? You don't have. See, here's the thing. I've said this before. I know I have. When you're on a podcast, right? You work in the line. She's a congresswoman, right? You don't have a book to sell. You don't have a podcast that's starting up. You don't have a YouTube channel that's starting up. You don't have a comedy special. You don't have a study that just came out. You don't have a new revelation of your field that's come up. You don't have any of that stuff. What are you doing on the podcast? Why did that get set up? I know Joe Rogan didn't say that. Paulina Luna, I really want to talk to her. There is no way, he said, there's no way Danny Jones was like, hey, where's Paulina Luna? Let's get in contact with her. Let's get her on the show. There's no way that happened. So her people had to reach out to them. There's nothing that she has to sell. When you see somebody that has nothing to sell, you'd rather see someone on a podcast that has something to sell, because you know at the end of the day, they're just Matthew McConaughey's on the podcast. He has his coaching thing. He has a book that he has a whole bunch of things he's trying to sell. It's like, okay, fine. Makes sense. Let's hear the conversation. But when they don't have anything to sell, that means they're selling a narrative. That's what that is. So that just popped up on my phone, so I figured I'd give you a little TED Talk here. Paulina Luna, who says, I'm trying to stay off social media, posting once every hour on 2 accounts. What? That's like me going like, I'm trying not to post on YouTube too much, guys. I'm doing 2 episodes a day. I'm doing 14 videos a week. Get out of here. Anyways, guys, just wanted to bring that to you. I'm out of here.